Mr. Borralho, this is the first of many or fight talk. Let's do it. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's doing very good. I'm excited to start this project with you, my brother, and I think people are gonna like it for sure.
Awesome. Like, look, shout out to Manscape and steak.com, or if you anywhere else access the steak from your specific country. Look, no, I don't want to take any extra time on this. So let's talk. How do you see your? I see a guy that you're gonna end up fighting eventually, RDR from this past weekend. What? How did you see the fight? How did you Bo Niko performance will translate especially for the future, and how do you see RDR performances against Bo Niko? How I'm curious to.
So, actually, it's a fun fight. It was a fight that I was like willing to see how Bon Niko would perform against a guy that is like a little bit better than all the other guys that he fought. And talking about Bon Niko first, I think he's very new in this sport. I think he's one of the most condecorated guys in wrestling. I was talking with some guys in wrestling. People say that he was one of the top 15 guys all time wrestlers.
College
So
wrestling, he's a freaking
he's
god.
like one of the best guys that ever wrestled in the US, So I think he has a lot of potential. He can do things because all of his background and all this shit. But I think he's too new to the sport, I think people are rushing on him a little bit. I think people are not giving him the right challenges so he keep building up. Especially when you're already into the UFC, you need to run it into this because it's a hole on your game. He wasn't tested before UFC, so he's been tested in the UFC. So I think maybe RDR was too much for him. We saw that he only perform very good if a guy is only a striker, but if a guy is like a wrestler, or if a guy has a great grappling, especially on bottom, I think he's a little lost in his game plan and all that. He didn't shoot one takedown. He didn't try to do like clinch work, like wrestling clinch work. He didn't try anything because he wasn't like comfortable in there. I could see in his eyes that he doesn't want to be there. He didn't want to be there. So I think he rushed it a little bit. Maybe they'll see rushing him a little bit. And for sure, he's a guy that has a lot of potential, but he runs his mouth a lot. He talks a lot. He was
Yes.
saying like in 5 years he could be like the pound for pound. He could be Hamza. He could be Dricus. And this is just delusional, It's not truth, Because when you get into this sport, top 15, top 10 guys, the level is different. I can tell you
Yes.
that, So the level
You
is very
felt that
different.
firsthand, right?
Huh?
You felt that firsthand.
Yes, exactly. I fought the Cannonier top five guy. He was a title challenger. He fought a lot of great champions. So when you get into this level, it's another level. You need to be prepared in every aspect. You need to be comfortable in your feet. You need to be comfortable on the wrestling, on the ground. You cannot be comfortable only in one position, unless you're like Alex Poitin. Like he's a guy that is comfortable on the feet, but he knocks people out easy. But when you get a guy that is really good and he's comfortable with you on the feet, they're gonna propose you the wrestling and the grappling. You're gonna feel a little bit stuck. That's what we saw with him in Callahan. So I think people rush on him. I think he needs to be passing to some challenges before go to the top 15 again. So now I think he needs a guy that is a prospect or a guy that just entered the UFC in the contender series. I think this is the kind of fight that he needs right now to get back up and to develop him. Because one thing that you in the gym and you're killing everyone, but people are helping you. People are there. It's not the reality all the time. So you need to
Yes.
be aware on your mentality too. So he was used to people in the gym. He used to mob people. Maybe he take everyone down. Maybe he stayed in top position a lot, but he didn't pass through the challenge that he needs to in his career. And we saw that we saw that in this fight. So I think a lot of potential for the kid. And I think if he puts his mind and his mouth in the right place, I think he can do good in sport. I don't know if he can be a champion. be honestly with you, I doubt if he can be a champion. But I think he can do good things. He think he can do big things. He's a big name, and I think he can sell a lot of fights. He can do great things, but he need to develop himself, because if people are gonna throw him to the lions again, he's gonna keep on losing streak all the time, and maybe get out of the UFC, and he's not gonna make his noise that he's supposed to make in the UFC. You know?
Yeah, I think he took this whole hype from the UFC the wrong way, right? Like UFC was kind of like pushing him up. That could be really nice, but that could be really dangerous too. And
Yeah, the hype can lift you, or the hype can kill you. I think it's
yes,
all matters of who is believing the hype, because everyone is believing the hype, but you, the athlete, you cannot believe in the hype. That's what I've been
yes,
saying all my career since I was like an amateur, since I was like 3-1 or 4-1. People going to my gym and look at me training and doing my stuff and training. People saying, "Man, this guy's gonna be a world champion. This guy's gonna be a world champion." I agree with them. I'm gonna be a world champion, but I couldn't believe in this hype, because I was
mhm.
nothing. I didn't win nothing. I didn't win to anyone that is high level guy at the time. So I couldn't believe in that, because if I believe in this hype, I'm gonna be with this hype on me. I'm gonna be like only like it's gonna make me work less. You know,
Yes.
it's gonna make me prepare less, because I believe in a hype. And a hype is not something that you need to be believing on that. You know, for sure, believe on
You
you,
guys are
believe in
living
you.
this right now, right? With the fighting nerds, everybody's super hyped up in there too, right?
Exactly. But we need to keep our mind in the right place. Know that what brought us here was the work that we done, not the hype. You know, like
Mhm.
the hype is just appearing right now. But we're doing this work for the past 10 years. So
Yeah.
that's the thing that made us who we are today, you know, not the hype. The hype comes like an extra, you know what I mean? But you
Yeah.
cannot believe in the hype. Don't believe in the fucking hype, or otherwise you're gonna fall. You know what I mean?
We were thinking, we were talking earlier. I was talking to Pahumpa, which is a head coach for he's one of the head coaches at American Top Team, and someone said, "Look, I think the UFC rushed him a little bit," and I compare his situation with Kron Gracie, because what do you do with a guy like that? Like, no, there's no local fighting opportunities for him. This guy's not
Yes.
going to fight like amateur events or anything. He's already like a star power at some, like Kron Gracie, Hickson Gracie's son. He's not going to fight a fucking local event. He's not going to,
Yeah.
even if he wants to, he won't get fights.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine like Bon Niko, like 2-0, 3-0? Who's gonna who 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 will fight Bon Niko? Everyone is trying to build their own record. Uh,
Yes.
that's a losing fight. That's a losing opportunity already. No one's gonna take it. And I was saying, and this kid probably did not get to the UFC making like 10 grand per fight.
Yeah.
So what I think happens is the UFC. All right, kid, you want to come? Oh yeah, I got what it takes. That's what they all say, right? It's like, all right. Somehow they want to try to get some of the investment back,
Yeah.
and
Definitely.
we saw that with Kron Gracie when the first fight against Caceres was all good, all beautiful, takedown, and
Yeah,
then they
but
put him against the fucking I forgot his name now. I just saw him 2 weeks ago in California. But that's not the point. But the other guy schooled him on the feet. I say, look,
yeah.
there's levels to this. You're just not here yet. But how do you ask in a UFC for an easy fight? There's no easy fights in the UFC.
Yes.
Like he'll get good stylistic fights, but there's no easy fights. And then you start building extra hype because he already started with a hype,
Yeah.
right? Oh, this kid is fucking like one of the goats of college wrestling and all of that. Now he's making his official debut. Everybody's looking. He wins. Wow. Second
Yeah.
fight, he wins. Wow. Third fight. And the UFC keeps pushing that higher and higher and higher. And one thing I said a lot, the UFC never do a matchup where they're gonna end up losing. Like losing, what I mean is like on that fight, you saw like RDR left there like with a star power already. He's super nice. He's smiling. Everybody was
Yes.
cheering for the guy at the end of the day. They knew that was going to happen. Like either Bo Nickal goes out and they say, look what our guy at 5-0 does to a double champion from another franchise.
Organization. Yes.
And if that didn't happen, say, look, we got this double champion from one championship here. This guy is the real deal. Look what he did
Yes.
with Bon Niko. That's there's no losing for the UFC,
Yeah.
and they,
And the
they
same
never
thing.
lose.
And the same thing that played against Bon Niko, all this hype, maybe gonna play against Renier. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
now he's like 3-0 in the UFC. People gonna believe he like he gonna give him a lot of hype and a lot of things. I saw him like people saying that he could be a good fight against Dracos and all that. If he believes on that, he's gonna fall too.
like
You know,
chill out,
because
right?
like RDR, experienced guy, double champion in the other organization. He's good. He's actually good on the ground, on the bottom position. He's very good at it. But he doesn't have good wrestling. And the striking of this guy,
It's not
I
that great,
I don't
right?
even have words to say about it. You know what I mean? Because his striking is awful, but he get it done. But he get it done against not top level guys. You know what I mean? Like Bon
And we just
Niko,
saw
he's
this Saturday
not.
too. Bo Nico
Yeah,
is not top level competition for him,
exactly.
right?
Bon Niko is like far from top level guy. He's a top level wrestler, but top level MMA guy, he's far from that. Really, really far. He has the potential to go into it, but I think he's far from that. So I think Renier, he's doing a good job. The fight was all for him. He couldn't do clinch and all that. He wasn't afraid to get taken down by a wrestler and all that. Bo Nickal felt that, and then he did the job. He came there and finished Bon Niko. But when Bon Niko got into the UFC, he before that he was fighting bums. You know what I mean? He fought a guy that was the guy was debuted in his career. He knocked the guy out in 30 seconds. So there's no fight in that. And then
Yeah,
after that, he got a guy 3-0, 1 minute first round. There's no fight on that. And then he got the other guy that was 7-1, 50 seconds first round. So he wasn't ready for that because he
yeah,
didn't go ready before the UFC. Then he got into the UFC. Actually, the UFC was taking care of him because the UFC first fight he put James Pickett. James Pickett was on a 3 or 4 losing streak. He's just a striker, and he's known for have a bad grappling, bad takedown defense. So he puts against a wrestler, the wrestler's gonna dominate. So that's what he did. He
mhm,
dominated. The other fight, he fought Val Woodburn. Val Woodburn, he was 7-0, good record. But if you see his record, 6 guys is from like a local organization, and
yeah,
5 guys of these 6, negative typology, more losses than wins. So he wasn't a guy. But the
yeah.
UFC was doing good with Bon Niko because UFC was preparing him. You know what I mean? And then
But you can
Cody,
only prepare a guy so much, right? Like,
exactly, exactly. The Cody, Paul Craig, they're good guys. Actually, these 2 fights actually helped Bon Niko a lot, but it made him believe too much. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He wasn't in the reality over there.
yeah,
He fought Paul Craig, that is not a striker, and he stayed at 3 rounds with him. Okay, good for you. You know what I mean? But what did he do? What did he show that was different? You know what I mean? Like he didn't show a good striking. So you're
yeah,
not a striker, you're not anything. So you need to be aware of it, of where you are in your career. You know what I mean? So he's a good guy, wrestler, very good record, good hype on him, but he needs to know that he's just a baby on the sport. You know what I
yeah,
mean? He's crawling. He's crawling right now. He's not even walking. And he's already on the UFC, the best guys in the world.
yeah.
So he needs to be aware where he is. So if the UFC comes with him with a big fight or something like that, he can be honest with himself and say, guys, maybe I'm not ready for this fight right now. Give me 1 more, 2 more, and then I'll be ready to this fight. You know what I mean? I think this is the best option for him right now.
That makes sense. That
Because
makes a lot
UFC
of
likes
sense.
him. UFC likes him, and the
Yeah,
UFC
yeah.
is
They
trying to
they see
build
a lot of
him up.
potential in him.
Yeah, and the UFC is trying to build him up because he has a lot of people in the US that watch him, that cheers for him, and all that. So he just need to be go slowly.
Yeah,
If you pick up a baby that is crawling and you put them on the feet, they're gonna fall because it's
You're
not
right.
time yet. You know what I mean? So I think it's the same thing with him. And about the fight, I think it was a great fight. I think he when he felt that he wasn't afraid to get taken down, he stopped
That
it.
was
He
it.
stopped the shoot. He stopped the shooting. You know, he stopped
He
it. That's
stopped
the time that
everything.
he that's the time that he started to be uncomfortable on the feet, uncomfortable on the fight. You could see on his face, actually, the knee that knocked him out, he
Was the
already
first
took two,
round one.
no, and he already took two knees in the first round.
Yes.
The
Look,
first
that
knee that he took
that
on his stomach,
big one.
yeah,
The camera had him on his back, so that's why nobody realized. But
yes,
he was like hanging on RDR after
exactly.
that first one on the first round.
Yeah,
In
that was the
RDR,
beginning of the end.
yes,
Yeah,
I just saw an interview. RDR says like, "Look, I felt it like every knee I gave him, like he didn't want to be there." And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
but
exactly
it
like
happened
that.
on the first round. It happened on the
Yes,
first round.
yes,
I was like,
yes,
if you did like a fighting nerd move, like step away from the guy, that kid was gonna go face first
yeah, definitely,
on that first big knee he took. Yeah,
definitely,
yeah, you're
definitely.
right. You're right. All right. We'll be back. We'll be back. Hopefully, we'll have some breaking news this week that we're gonna discuss because I think Dana White. I think Dana White's gonna announce that Islam is moving up this week and try to get a little hype going on for the Bilal Muhammad pay-per-view card. So
Yes.
if that happens, we'll be back with another video because I wanna pick your brain on how the Bilal Muhammad can perform in on the middleweight division. Which
Okay. Okay.
we'll talk
I
about
have
that.
already opinion about that. So
We'll talk
we
about
talk
that on the
about that
next
when it
one.
comes to
Then.
time. Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. That's it, guys. Look, leave your like there, smash this like button, subscribe to us, follow Caio Borralho on Instagram too.
Yes.
Subscribe to his channel. And that's it. We'll be back.
I see you guys. Thank you.